Where are we, kids? We are in Chatham, New York. It's a beautiful rainy Sunday morning, and Terry and I decided to take a little R&R vacation day and not work and go out and do some filming. On the Rutland Corkscrew Division video that I posted a little while back, and also on the Berkshire and Hudson, I noted on both videos this bumper that used to be down there in town in Chatham. And 2 weeks after I posted the video, a friend of mine, Walt, called me up and said, "Hey Russ, the bumper and the rails are ripped up." And I said, "But I was just there 2 weeks ago." So anyway, they indeed were ripped up because we just came through there. They're not there because they are here. And where is here? Here is in the rail yard in Chatham. That's Harrington's. That's the Union Station. That's a pile of plates right there. And this is the bumper and rails. Why is the question? Why did they rip it out? We'll find out. Terry, behave yourself.
I'm in heaven.
Well, there he is. And there's the sign that explains slow children playing. There he is.
I'm fast. I'm not slow.
You want to see some more? Let's go for a walk.
Oh, jeez.
The foliage hasn't started growing too bad.
Oh, man, look at the trailer with the snowmobiles. Oh, there's a truck in here.
Yeah, there's a truck in there. Yep. 41 through 47.
I like Dodgers.
Well, if you're following along on this rainy Sunday, Mr. Terry's waiting in the woods up there for me. We came through Chatham. We came up this old Route 66 here, and we are at the site of the 3 stone abutments that crossed the creek. There's 2, and there's 3. So Terry, on our trek through the woods, said, oh, go get Sam, go repark Sam, and go get the camera, and we have to document this. And what this is, I'll tell you. Down there is the underside of that arch bridge. Support number, abutment number 1, abutment number 2. Here's abutment number 3. Mr. Terry said, let's go through this way. We found something. I'll show you what it is in a minute. Here we go. Spoils of man. Through the tunnel. Out through and into the field. Da-da! Blast furnace. That's Rutland Corkscrew right up there. So we were up there and we looked down here, and that's when Terry saw this. I think today's video is just going to be us rambling around finding stuff. I hope you're okay with that. What you got, sir? Ah, unmarked bricks. No names. Which way'd you go? This way or that way?
I came up through there.
Oh, well, I'm gonna go a different way. Ooh.
All roads lead to the furnace.
Oh.
This is where you need to be, right here.
The graffiti meisters have gotten it. Let me turn you off and get up there, and I'll be right back with you. Okay, we made it right into the mouth. The graffiti meister monsters have gotten to it. But this was a blast furnace. We'll have to look into the name and the heritage and the lineage of this one. But it still stands. You know, in a lot of these places, the vines and the foliage and the growth are what holds them together for so long. Cool, cool, cool. Chatham, Route 66, just north of the village. You guys will find it. Penelope pit stop. So it's almost Terry's birthday, so look what I bought him. Well, kids, here we are. We just met Bill, the phenomenal artist that, yes, you guessed it, he made this. It is entirely out of styrofoam. This has got to be the one and only, one of a kind, only one in existence, Rutland 440 number 3, made out of styrofoam, kids. The rails are wood. He originally built it as a project from the cow catcher forward with a boiler explosion, a semi-fake faux boiler explosion, and he had all the exposed steam pipes. And now he's finished it. And here's the cab. Oh, it's just incredible. We just met him, shook his hand, and we had some laughs with him, and he very generously gave us permission to film it. Now this side he apologized, and he does not need to apologize one bit. He said the other side's not finished, so don't dwell on it. But kids, if there's any of you out there watching that could do this, well, jump forward and scream and shout right now, because I don't think there's any of us that could.
This is what it looks like when it's having a class 2 shopping.
Yes. Oh man, we're getting poured on right now, but Terry and I do what we do to bring you the best of the best.
And to take a bath.
And to take a bath. Yeah, it's been 2 weeks. We are walking out now. So I featured the actual nose of this machine from, oh, we got a knuckle coupling here in his driveway. Bill is also not only a phenomenal artist and has a beautiful house, he is also very knowledgeable on the Rutland Division corkscrew branch. So he schooled us and educated us on a few things that we didn't even know. This is the site of the old Borden's Creamery right here. And we won't go any farther because that's not his property, but there's the foundations up there. There's another long linear foundation here where the siding would have been at this gradient right here, because here's the station, which I also documented in the corkscrew video, but we're getting it again on this rainy Sunday. And right here, Terry, still rails in the ground. Now, I don't think we want to do it now, but Bill was telling us right down yonder there's a stream at a really low pitch, and down this rail bed heading back west towards Chatham is a phenomenal fill section culvert. We'll do that again some other day, Terry. How's that?
Tomorrow.
Okay, tomorrow. Old Chatham Station, rail yard, Creamery Foundation, and number 3. Thank you, Mr. Bill. We are back. We are back at the intersection of 20 and 22 in Lebanon, New York. And my goodness, that wall right there, that facade has fallen down since the last time I was here. Anyway, we're still on the Russ and Terry Sunday afternoon get away from life adventure, and kind of revisiting a few things that I got to see. And Terry was, were you in Brazil that day I filmed up here?
Botswana.
Botswana. I knew you were somewhere other than home. Now this is about the condition that I remember the Hopewell Depot being in when, do you remember Hopewell this bad?
Did not see it back in those days.
Yeah, it was pretty bad like this. The roof was the main thing, and then of course they had the fire. But there is a valid effort taking place to rebuild this old girl. Rutland Railroad Corkscrew Division. Russ and Mr. Terry on a snowy, rainy, cold May Sunday afternoon. Oh, okay. So these new steps were not here the last time I was here. Terry's always thinking. That's what we like about him. He thinks so I don't have to. Anyway, we've got this one featured in a couple videos. This is the third video now, I do believe. Just wanted to show Mr. Terry. Yeah, they've been doing a little site work here, clearing up. He's going in, folks. We're ending our day at Stewart's.
Hey, don't tell Mr. Terry. I had to get him back home quick. He had to catch a southbound highball for Richmond, a fiddler's contest. Cool beans, man. But, shh, don't tell him I came back with Walt. Shh. Now the video continues.
Well, we found it. This is the Blind Pulver farmhouse here in Chatham. And I've seen it as 219 Hudson Avenue, and I've also seen it as 197 Hudson Avenue. Hudson Avenue is Route 66. Now, purportedly, I've seen 4 write-ups on it, and in my world, until I see a 5th write-up on it, I hold it only somewhat close to the truth. Supposedly, this was the farmhouse summer country getaway of the Horowitz family, which were the Three Stooges. Here's your mom and pop, his and hers, 2-seaters, maybe 3-seaters. There was one, and there's that other right there. Cool. Now, this little gem right here was the crossing guard railroad shanty that was up in the village of Chatham. We will document it right here. Luckily, it was taken and moved and saved and preserved right here. Look at the bells. Look at the bells, Walt. Ding, ding, ding. Old Charlie, the crossing guard, would take his job seriously. There's a nice little copper cap on the roof up there. And he would ring those bells at the appropriate time to let the kids and the housewives know that there was a train coming and that they better stop and wait. So Walt just picked out that kind of shingles and that hip roof is very similar to the shanty. So was that the 2-holer that was up at the Chatham station at one point and moved here also? We'll have to look into that. But at any rate, one more little sub-building here is this concrete one right here. So let's go look at this one. This, I have to assume, has always been here. And could have just been cold storage. Peek in there, see what's in there. Could have been a little root cellar building at one point. We don't know. But there is a lot of debris here and a flat spot right here, so perhaps that was part of a larger building that was here. So at any rate, I have yet to meet her, but Gail Blass Wolzansky, I hope I'm getting her name right, Wolzansky, is the main person in charge of the restoration of this Blind Pulver farmhouse. She, from all accounts, what I've been told, is the mastermind behind it. Oh look. Oh look, a railroad speeder. Wow, things just keep getting better. Look at this. Is it a Fairmont? Is it a Kalamazoo? Let's find out. There's the little tag number. Looking for the plate. And that's an inspection plate. Okay, guys and gals. You're sitting in your comfy chairs, jumping up and down. Oh, Almost tripped on the whistle post. You're jumping up and down saying, "Oh, oh, Russ, it's a Fairmont. No, it's a Kalamazoo." I don't know. I don't see any tags, builder's tags or anything. Huh. Do we dare? It's got an engine. It's got a motor down in there. Could be a little Waukesha, I don't know. Huh. Well, it's cool. It's cool. Little side curtains that used to pull up for bad weather, rainy days, snowy days. All right, where were we? Oh yes, the Blind Pulver farmhouse. So once this is restored, it will be called the Historical Society Education Center. Oh, they have a little thing here. Let's get it. Let's get it. Ah, for your Google machines. There we go. And they are, of course, on Facebook. Awesome. We can't wait to come back up here. And I can't wait to hopefully, possibly someday meet up with Gail Blas-Wolanski. Oh, look at that. Look at that transom window up there. Can you see it? The sun. There we go. Look at that beautiful, colorful stained glass. It's going to be a gem when it's done. Walt's waiting for us. Gotta go, gotta go. And of course, it's got the obligatory iron-wheeled farm machinery sitting here. This is an old railroad station baggage cart, and we'll have to come back here. But we've got a couple more locations to visit today, and I do have a pretty tight time constraint. Looks like a salt box type of an addition that was off the back here and is now gone. You can still see where a lot of the footings and foundations were here. Okay, say goodbye to the railroad gems, and we're gonna move on up into town now. See that number, guys and gals? 266. Yes, that's the phone exchange for Clinton Corners. But it's also emblazoned on these cedar shake shingles. And look at the rafter tails. They've got railroad architectural features written all over them. I do believe, Walt, that this was the two-seater up in the rail yard in Chatham itself. We'll have to look into dive into some books and see if we can find some black and whites on that. And if we find it, we'll post it. All right, kids, we're here with Beekman today, back in Chatham, New York. This is the gorgeous and beautiful third of 3 stone abutments for the Rutland Division corkscrew line. This is the current modern day stony kill. Word has it, it used to be called the Stein kill. Now Stein, as I was told, is a Germanic word for stone or rock. So this was the Stein kill morphed into the stony kill. And we are here today to re-investigate the Chatham Smelting Company blast furnace that is right back there. It was built indeed high on a bluff overlooking this creek in 1873. There were, at one point, at the peak of its production, there were a total of 8 buildings in the very complex operation that they had. And we're going to go back there in a minute, check it out, document what we find. Gorgeous, gorgeous abutment. And there it is. There she is.
Oh, wow.
So that is a electrical NYSEG, New York State Electric and Gas, little small little micro plant up there. And that street, that road up there, we're going to go up there next, because most of the buildings were on that upper level up there. They had, speaking of buildings, they had a total of 8 buildings in this operation. They had an engine room, a boiler room, an iron ore room, a limestone room, a coal room, a charcoal room, a parts room, a molding room, and an office. Now that might sound overwhelming, but they had individual buildings that housed and stored items such as charcoal and coal and iron ore and limestone. All of the raw materials that went into the smelting process to get pig iron, they stored in what would today in an IBM complex be called clean rooms. They kept it that pure and that clean and that separated to produce some of the finest pig iron in the region. In fact, in a minute here, I'm going to dig up some notes on a really cool story that I've got about it, which has everything to do with the cleanliness and pureness of the raw materials that they kept. Oh boy, I wish we could come here in the dead of winter. We'll have to come back, because none of this foliage would be growing. It's all growing up now, you can see. But sadly, a huge fire destroyed all but 3 of the buildings here. At some point, they were out of business by that point. The office building was the one of the 3 salvaged, untouched by the fire, and the office building was turned into a converted into a residence. So once we get up top, we're going to see if there's a building up there that fits the description and the vintage that could be that house that used to be the office. Oh man, the graffiti buffs have been here. Look at this. I am feeling rather timid and frightened at the moment, because this building is literally crumbling as the days and weeks go by. What a shame. Oh man, it must have been quite an operation. A big iron bar that goes across there. So of course, it created pig iron here. And what is pig iron? So pig iron was created by smelting the iron ore with charcoal and limestone. Basically, you put the limestone, you put the lime in the coconut, you put the limestone, the charcoal, and the iron ore all into a big gigantic fire in the blast furnace, and it created pig iron. They would put it into molds and forms, and the byproduct of pig iron was a bluish greenish colorful slag, almost glass-like. And you can still, down in the creek down there, you can still find chunks of that slag. So you're gonna go in, we're here, we might as well. I'm in, kids. Oh, this video, these pictures, this film is just not going to do justice to what I'm seeing here in person. Wow. Wow. If you've never been inside a blast furnace before, now you can be sitting in your comfy chairs. It's like quite the party spot. Look at the work and the ingenuity that went into making these beautiful upside down heart-shaped, butterfly-shaped vestiges where the byproduct would come out over here and the raw materials were put in and smelted in here. This is just incredible. Wow. I am so glad I came in here. I'm gonna go out this way because it looks a little bit nicer. Let's go. Ooh. Somebody's pure 18 karat gold chain. We made it out. We were just in there, now we're not. We're on the south side Oop, big chunk of iron right there. Whoa, this is just gorgeous. I am so glad we came back up here. These are foundations for some of the other buildings, and they run all the way up here. Oh, way down there is a beautiful, made by the hands of man, circular sunburst, kind of a stone piece. It's got to be 8 feet around. It's laying there in the bed of the creek. It probably tumbled from up here. Wow. Chatham blast furnace. Oh, there you go. Pieces of slag that I was mentioning. Some green, some blue. That's the byproduct. I know a lot of you guys know about slag. You've had slag. You've been out at places like this before and found slag. I'll bring a few pieces home with me. Here's a really cool piece here. So that was the byproduct. That's what they actually chipped off of the pig iron, and it was just a byproduct. It was a waste. They dumped it over the edge here. Look at it all. There's probably billions of pieces. It'd be a nice place down there in a hot July or August day. So back to some of the byproducts, the raw materials that they made. They combined to make the pig iron. The limestone came in from Stockbridge, Massachusetts. The iron ore itself was mined out of a mine in West Pittsfield, Mass. Coal was brought by rail from Petersburg, New York. More than likely Petersburg Junction, where the Rutland crossed the Boston and Maine. And the charcoal was brought in by a charcoal manufacturer in Austerlitz, New York, and he brought it in all the way from Austerlitz to here by horse and wagon. So some of the stuff was brought in by rail, some by old-fashioned means as horses and buggies. I figured I'd use the river here, the creek, as a backdrop when I narrate this cool story about this furnace here. So when the Panama Canal, the actual Panama Canal, was being proposed and thought about in its preliminary phases, the United States government requested samples from many different iron ore producing furnaces across the Northeast. One being this exact one, the Chatham furnace. And it was reported to have been of the best quality of all the ores submitted. That in and of itself, if the story ended right there, it would be pretty cool. Even though this furnace was working 24 hours a day, 6 days a week with 25 or so employees, the management felt, gosh, we sure do want this contract, but we just cannot have the output that would meet the government's demands, so they respectfully turned it down. So one can only imagine the impact that little old Chatham, New York here would have had on the world stage had that occurred. Yeah, so that's a cool little side story about this place. We have made it up one level higher. We're actually in one of the buildings right now. Some of the buildings, I would have to assume from other pictures I've seen of other sites throughout the Northeast, they were connected. One last little bit before we end on this furnace today. One of their last big orders was from the South Boston Iron Company. It was for 300 tons of iron, of pig iron. And shortly after that, furnace ops shut down in 1914. And again, as I mentioned, the massive fire destroyed all but 3 of the buildings. One of them reportedly turned into a structure. That house, that building, that barn is brand new, so that's not it. It could probably more than likely be gone also. But the fire, time, and Mother Nature took its toll, and what you're seeing here on your screens right now is all that's left. This is it. Oh, hey Walt, we got some pretty good chunks of iron bar and iron rod sticking up here. Let's just hope this old girl stays standing for generations to come here and explore and enjoy. Yeah, so they're in a perfectly straight line, about 6 feet apart from each other. Could have been stanchions for a sluiceway, or perhaps a holding facility for something. Not sure, but this is it. This is what's left of the Chatham Furnace Company. Ooh, over in there is a cool little walkway. I'm gonna go down there and check that out. I'll get right back to you. You know I got to. So now we are on the let's call it the east side. Check this out, Walt. You know, this was tied in with those, with that iron based sluiceway right here. And here's the other one right there. Those were anchor points for a structure that was right here, perhaps a big dumping cart or a dumping spillway that fed into this hole. I guess my guess is as good as your guess, so to speak. Uh-oh. What do we got here? Is it human? It's been gnawed on pretty good by mice. And again, guys, now this is the north side here. So now I've showed you all 4 sides. Alright, here we are back at the truck, and we've got our artifact pile. So these pieces here, these 2 big pieces, is actual actual pig iron. These are the slag pieces. These 2 pieces here, this is coal. This is some raw material. Coal and charcoal went into the production of pig iron. And here you can see some beautiful blues and greens of the slag. Here's another small piece of pig iron. Here's another one, and here's another one. And these 2 pieces here and here are just a couple of pieces of iron that we pulled out of there. There were some that I couldn't get. There were some iron wedges that were down at the base of a couple of large trees. They were clearly period correct. The tree roots had just grown up around them so much. But from here, we're going to head up the road. We're going to turn onto, I believe it's Fairview, and see if we can find the spur, any evidence of the spur that came off the main line, Rutland, that would have fed this furnace. Let's go. Right here is ground level. And we go up. And up and up and up and up. And up and up and up. Where my feet are to that concrete lip. And those iron pieces are indeed, yes, they are pieces of rail. Has got to be 40 feet. This is just incredible. There's none on this side, but on the other side are tiny little, every now and then, one here, one up there, one up there, little iron, I think they're called crimpons. They're, I'm butchering that, but they're, they probably practice rappelling and climbing here. Not me.